If you're not happy, think about what would make you happy. You already know what it is. You've prayed about it, you've asked about it, you've cried about it. If this was this way, if this was that way, if I had this, if I didn't have this, I'd be happy. My pursuit of happiness back in the day, for example, was I'm going to make music, I'm going to make albums, make a lot of money, pay off debts, provide for my lifestyle, provide for my family, my extended family. I'll have a great husband, kids, a family, and then I'd be happy. But I've discovered something over the last year that no matter what your pursuit of happiness is, if you're not living the right life with the right people, you will struggle to be happy. This is just my experience. This is not the only video in the world that will give you the answer to true happiness. This is just one aspect. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with who I am. I'm very happy in my life. And I feel like I'm just now starting to live my life, and I'm 41. I feel like over the last year, that's when I have truly found what it means to truly be happy. I was not living the right life, and I was not living it with the right people. That is why I struggled to be happy. Now, doesn't mean that everything that I lived was a hoax. Most of it was. But it doesn't mean that there was not valuable lessons to be learned, connections that caused me to grow. It does not mean that it was all for nothing, but it wasn't the true authentic path for me to happiness. When I truly started living the life that I was designed to live, that's when happiness started to really show up in my life. And some people say you shouldn't use the word happiness because that means you're only excited and happy because something happens. You should be pursuing joy. True, I do have joy, but I also want to be happy. Let me tell you this, the happiness came after the peace, and the peace came after the release. Oh, look at them bars. After I released certain people and a lifestyle that I lived, that's when I had peace. And when you have peace, happiness follows, joy follows. And this newfound happiness was not because of a relationship or a man. This guy posted on my page, he said, "You're really glowing, you're looking good. He must be doing something right." And I was slightly offended because that smile, that glow, that joy was not because of a man or relationship. It was because of the work that I had did on myself. And actually it was because I released that relationship or released that person. That's really why I was glowing. But I get it. We're conditioned to think that having a relationship with another person is what's going to make us happy. That's just the way that we're conditioned. So I understand that. But the truth is, my happiness was a result of me getting into alignment with my true life and getting into alignment with the right people, and sometimes getting into alignment just with myself and being alone for a certain time so that I can really truly find out what that right life is. And listen to the full content before you go into, oh, she talking about she happy because she don't need no man. I didn't say that. Listen to the full content. I'm saying I did so much work on myself to produce that happiness and that glow. And, pat on the back, it had nothing to do with the man because I have always had a relationship thinking that's what's going to make me happy. So, like I said, I'm 41 and most of my life I've been miserable and I didn't even know it because I'm naturally a happy person. I'm naturally positive, but in the background, there was this thing going on and I finally was able to put it into words. I'm going to read you something that I wrote, Yarns Trele, and I posted it. It says this: some people wake up every day asleep, not realizing that subtle lull of feeling lost, anxious, irritated with the joyless, lackluster existence is simply because they are living the wrong life with the wrong people. Now, I had friends, I had relationships, I was doing the music thing. At one point I was in the church doing that for like 20, 25 years, just living life, but not realizing that I truly wasn't happy. There was constant struggle, constant financial issues, constant relationship issues, because I was not living the right life with the right people. What do I mean by that? People that I was connected to were not bad people, though some of them were. It was just the wrong people for me. 4 plus 3 does not equal 8. 8 is not a bad number, it's just the wrong number. So my struggles, my constant, consistent struggles was because I was not aligned with the right people. And when you're not aligned with the right people, you tend to live the wrong life. You know how they say, you start hanging out with people that are in gangs, you're going to start doing bad things and you're going to start living that type of lifestyle because you started with the wrong people. It always starts with the wrong people for the most part, from my experience. Even there's a Bible scripture that says, bad communication corrupts good manners, right? So I was around people that struggled a lot financially. They complained a lot. They were negative. And I see why we connected, because I'm the opposite. I'm positive. I'm uplifting. Always want to give somebody a word that's going to make them feel better. Yet, us being connected, we affected each other. Yes, I gave them my positive energy, but then in exchange, I took on their complaining. I took on their negativity. I took on their financial struggles. I took on those things that they were involved in. If they were in crappy relationships, no wonder my relationships are crappy. And you've heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people around you. Y'all know the saying. I don't remember how it goes, but all the people that are around you, that's how your life is going to end up. But then you wake up one day and you realize, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to be happy. I want to be my true self. Then they start accusing you of acting funny. They start to say things like you don't love them. What about our 15-year relationship? What about our 20-year relationship? So then you dummy down because you don't want to lose the relationship. You don't want to be looked at as a bad person or a bad friend or a bad spouse, a bad family member. And so you kind of just hide that away and you get back in the struggle with them. And you may say, well, it shouldn't matter who you hang around with. You should be strong enough to be in communication and relationships with anybody. You should be strong enough spiritually. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you hang around certain people, certain spirits and energies consistently, they will influence you. Maybe a little, maybe a lot, but they will influence you just like you are influencing them. You know, one day I just woke up and I said, there has to be more to life than this. If I can't be happy, I don't want to be here. Just take me out. I'm so serious. Just take me out of here. If I'm going to have to struggle all my life and worry, be anxious, and just live to be worried and anxious, I don't want to be here. And you know, one of the things that really makes us unhappy is the struggle. Constant struggle, struggle, struggle. And I don't care what anybody says. What I've learned over the last year is my struggles came because I was connected to the wrong people. It's just the truth. I was connected to the wrong people. Again, not bad people, wrong people for my life. So how do you know, Dorian, they're not the right people? How do you know that you're unhappy because you're with the wrong people? Number 1, based on your desires. Number 2, your purpose. Let me explain. If you have a desire to be happy, positive, you want to be financially free, you just want to be happy and live a good life, yet you're around people that are constantly complaining, they're negative. And then because of your loyalty and your obligation, you decide to put your happiness on hold and get down in the struggle with them. Yeah, girl, I understand. Yeah, homie, I get you, man. I feel you. And you're down there with them in the struggle. And so if you have a desire for a different life, a new life, a better life where you're actually free, you're happy, you see other people being happy. And I know you don't go based on social media, but I'm saying there are people that are genuinely happy out there, whether they're single in relationships, whether they're rich, they're poor, there are people that are genuinely happy and you want that. But yet you're connected to somebody for years who does not want that. There are some people that just don't want to be happy. They like their struggle. They like their negativity. They like being in pain. They're addicted to pain. They don't know how to live their life if there wasn't a struggle. Number 2, it depends on your purpose. If you have a purpose to get fit and get in shape and then help other people, you may not even know that's your purpose. You may just start to get in shape, start posting things, and before you know it, you have a full-blown business and you're all over the world showing people how to get in shape. But you're connected to somebody who doesn't care about that. You're connected with people who will eat anything, anywhere. They don't care who made it, where it came from, what's in it. They drink any and everything. Then that's going to cause you to struggle to be happy. Your purpose may not be anything grand. You just may have a desire just to be happy and just to be positive and lift people up. Whether you're working as a janitor and nobody knows your name, or whether you're on a platform or you're a public influencer. I woke up to a program realizing that I had been programmed and conditioned all my life. Like most of us, as soon as you come out of the womb, you are given a name, you're given an address. You don't get to choose any of those things. You don't get to choose your name. You don't get to choose your address. You don't get to choose where you're going to live, where you're going to go to school, how you're going to be indoctrinated. You don't get to choose those things until you get older, and then you can. So I realized that a lot of the programming and the things that I was taught and the lifestyle, the life that I was living was based on what I was programmed to do. Once I woke up to that, then I realized, oh my gosh, this is why I've been so unhappy. And let me tell you, we are programmed to be anxious, to be worried, to be fearful. Yes, we are. Just turn on the television. Just turn on social media and all the negativity and the fear and just the constant bad news that we hear, which is why I don't watch the news like that. You know, the news anchors are constantly 8 people dead, 10 people killed, running out of water, running out of toilet paper. It's just constant. And we're trained and programmed to be anxious and worried. Now, let's say that there's this program going on about that, and then you're connected to a best friend, a lover, family members that you talk to every single day, and all they do is worry. All they do is struggle. Struggle, struggle, struggle. That's the word. That's the word of the day. It's the struggle, the constant struggle that made me so unhappy. Always struggling to pay a bill, struggling in a relationship, struggling with family, just struggle. And I just got tired. I'm like, this is not it for me. This is not it. First things you're going to have to do is evaluate the people that you are closest to. And yes, that could be a spouse. That could be a friend of 20, 30 years. That could be a job that you've been committed to all your life. It could be a church. It could be anything. This is if you're not happy. If you're straight with your life, I don't even know why you're watching the video unless you just came to check me out. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But if you're struggling with being happy, start with the people. I mean it. Start with the people. I have released family, friends, lovers over the last few years because I woke up to the truth that they were not adding to my happiness. They were taking away from my happiness because of their own struggles and their own issues, and me being the person that I am, wanting to help them, wanting to get them out of it, but yet we're both in it. And how do I know this is true? Because since I've released these people, let's take, for example, one person who was always having financial struggles, but we were super, super close. When I released them, my finances turned around. I kid you not. How else do I know this is true? Because there's no drama in my life. I'm very peaceful. I'm very chill, very calm. There's no drama on the phone every single day based on when I was connected with a certain person. How else do I know this is true? By gauging my health. I've always been health-minded, health conscious. 16 years old, my first job was a personal trainer. I've always been in that line of work. But I struggled to maintain that because I was around people who didn't care about that. They were either obese, overweight, didn't care about what they ate, didn't care about exercising. Yes, maybe some people have medical issues. We get that, but I'm talking about my personal experience. They weren't on the same path and the same journey as me, yet we're this close. You will influence each other. If they are okay with skipping days and cheat days 3 times a week, then I'm going to say, yeah, you're right. It's okay because you're connected. You're in a relationship. Yeah, you're right. Someone who doesn't have discipline in their money and they're always in lack, they're always in debt, always owing somebody, always borrowing, that stuff is going to affect you. Then I even noticed when it came to relationships, I started attracting the same type of person that they were attracting. People that I would never, ever be attracted to. But because we're in close relationship, friendships, family, you will influence each other. And you say, now, Dorian, if I start evaluating if I have the right people in my life, I might end up alone. You're right. You're right. You might. I did. For a while, I did. I ended up alone, no friends, no lover, and it was great. It was really great because the more people you have in your life, the more issues that you will have to deal with if they are not awakened to their true life and their true purpose and what they're supposed to be doing. If they're just focused on this 3D life of paying bills and dealing with kids and dealing with their spouse and arguing and upset and frustrated, and then you're connected to them, then that's all you will experience. That's all you will have. So yes, you may end up single. You may end up with no friends for a season, for a while, because you are starting to focus on yourself and find out if I'm living the right life. Because the right life, right people equals happiness. And sometimes being by yourself equals even more happiness, even if it's for a season. And let me tell you this, you may end up single, you may end up by yourself, no friends, like I did, but then I wound up and end up getting myself out of debt, financially debt free. Yeah, you may end up by yourself, but now you got all this peace, this inner joy, this calm, this chill. Man, now you're smiling all the time. I mean, ended up single, but now I attract better potential life partners, man. And don't believe that lie that you're always going to struggle. Life is always going to be a struggle. It's always going to be hard. No, no, don't believe that lie. If you're living the right life with the right people, whatever comes into your life, it's not even really considered a struggle. It's something that you face, you deal with, you overcome, and you move forward. I'm talking about constant struggle. All we do is struggle. One person in my family used to always say, if it ain't one thing, it's another. And they still say that to this day. And I say, you know what? I'm not going to believe that anymore. I'm going to reprogram my mind. That's not true. Unless I'm saying it's always one great thing after another. And because I believe that, that's what I experience. See, that's the thing. We don't want to choose our own beliefs because it's not the common belief. Most people don't believe that way, so we just stick with what everybody else believes, but everybody else is struggling. They're upset. They're frustrated. They hate their marriage. They hate their spouse. They don't like their children. Me and my kids, we have a great relationship. Once I released certain people who had issues with their kids, once I released the people that were always struggling with their kids, I'm serious. Now, me and my kids have always had a good relationship, but now we have a great relationship because I'm not connected with people that, have those competing energies. And yet I really want this with my kids. And I know I can have it, and I do have it, but why is it always this struggle? Because you're connected with people that struggle. You're connected with struggle people. And this video is to inspire you to face reality and to be honest with yourself. That's if you truly want to be happy. That's if you truly want to experience peace, joy, calm, financial increase and blessings, good relationships with the right people in your life. Or if you're going to be by yourself or single, joy, peace, chill, drama-free. When it comes to the right life, I mean, are you truly living your designed purpose? Not what grandma, papa, abuela, all of them said that you should be. I remember hearing a guy said, I became a pastor because they said I had a preacher's head. So his whole life, that's why he became a preacher. And he's not very good. He's not really a good preacher. And he knows that too. But he's like, I'm only doing this because they said I had a preacher's head. And for me, I've always been meant to do music. But I started out doing one type of music that was great until I started doing the music that I like and that I really wanted to do. Then I became happy. And I finally finished it. Seriously, I have a single out there. I have other music that I was doing in a different type of genre, but it never came to fruition. I could never get it to get out there, right? But my other playlist, it was done just like that because I was doing music that I wanted to do. This book and the other book, just like that because I was writing what I wanted to write. That's what I'm saying. And then I was happy. But the other times when I was trying to do my albums before, I was with the wrong people and I wasn't doing music that was aligned with who I truly am. I'm telling you, it was a struggle, financial struggle with those people. When we went into the studio, all the tracks were blurred. It was just a mess. But when I did my other playlist and the album that I'm working on now as well, it's just easy. It was just easy. It just flowed because I was aligned with the right life. When it comes to my health, I'm supposed to live a certain way. I'm supposed to eat a certain way. Do you know that when I don't eat a certain way, I'm not happy? That's what I'm saying. It depends on your life. Are you living the right life? Some people are supposed to be pescatarians, vegetarians, vegans, whatever. It's not even about the label. It's about, I'm supposed to have a certain diet. I'm supposed to eat a certain way. Maybe we all are, but I'm talking about for me. But the people that I was connected with, they didn't have any concern for that. There was no consistency in that. There was no discipline in that. But for me, I'm supposed to. I'm mandated. It's my purpose. And when I don't do it, I'm not happy. When I don't eat right, my skin will show it. My skin is clearer than it's ever been in my whole entire life. Every time I eat clean, my skin is clear because I'm not supposed to eat that way. That's just part of my design, that I'm supposed to eat and have a certain diet. And it makes me happy. When I'm eating clean, I'm drinking clean. When I'm exercising and I'm working out, I'm happy. Wow. So that's an aspect of my happiness, is I have to eat a certain way. And if I'm going to be connected with anyone, they have to be in alignment with that because they're going to want to go out to eat. They're going to want to spend time together. And most of the time when you spend time together, you get hungry. And then if they want to go to some junk food place all the time, I'm not going to be happy, because even if I try to subdue that part of me that is supposed to eat right and fitness and try to be, in a connection with them, eventually I'm not going to be happy. And so it's not about pointing the finger at anybody. It's about you saying, what kind of life am I supposed to live? And it could have to do with your diet, even your finances. I'm supposed to be rich. I'm supposed to be wealthy. Maybe that's part of your destiny so that you can help other people. That may not be a part of their destiny. That may not be a part of their journey. So they don't care. They spend their money how they want to. They run up their credit cards. They pay the minimum payment every month. But that's okay. Maybe they're not called to do certain things, but live another type of life. But if you're supposed to be an influencer, you're supposed to help people, and not even famous. If you're just supposed to be rich and have money and wealth so that you could do certain things, build a community center or something like that, you are going to have to be around the right people or alone and get into the right life so that you can experience true happiness. And this kind of happiness is euphoric. You don't even need any alcohol. You don't need any drugs. I'm telling you, I've never done drugs, but I feel so high on my own happiness. I feel so high now that I'm living the right life, and the right people are starting to trickle in. Now that I've released the wrong people, not bad people, but the wrong people, the right people are starting to trickle in, and they're more in alignment with who I am and who I'm going to be in the future. And last but not least, once you decide this is not the right person, this is not the right group of people for me to be around, this is not the right life. Once you wake up to that, you owe no one an explanation. All you owe them is the truth. That's it. You are not responsible for their reactions. You're not responsible for their feelings. As long as you've done it in a kind way, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Now, you may go and talk to someone and say, hey, I don't want to be friends anymore. This is not working for me, which is what I did even as of recently. This is not going to work for me. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to go into deep details. All you owe people is the truth. And that could be a spouse. That could be a friendship. That could be family ship. I simply called this person and said, I do not want to be in a friendship anymore. It is not a fit for me anymore. And I talked about this in my other video. Is this relationship aligned or toxic? For me, it depends. It's case by case. With this person, I have been explaining to you for years what I need, what I want. That's what happened in my marriage. When I filed for divorce, I simply filed and I said, I'm getting a divorce. This marriage is over for me. And I did not explain another word. I kid you not. And this is probably what drove people crazy back in that time, and even him, because I would not explain myself. I've been explaining myself for 7 years. And if you haven't heard me then, you're not going to hear me now that your livelihood is threatened. And a lot of people face this. A lot of people deal with this. People will start flexing their marital muscle, meaning I want to fight for the marriage. Now they want to flex their marital muscles and fight for it. But for 7 years, in my case, I was explaining and I was asking and I was wondering and counseling and all that. Nobody wanted to hear all that. But once I woke up, I literally woke up. And let me tell you what I did. I decided that very last year, it was in January, I said, okay. And I had my legal notebook paper and I said, I'm just going to take notes for a whole year. And if nothing has shifted and nothing has changed in this whole year, I'm filing for divorce. I filed for divorce December 24th, Christmas Eve. Savage. Yes, I did. I filed. And I looked back at those notes and it was everything that I had been explaining, asking for, bringing up for 7 years. I said, if her name comes up one more time, I'm out of here. Came up twice that year. And I took my notes. And so therefore, when I presented myself to say this is over, I'm not explaining myself. Still having financial issues, though I've asked to, let me be over the money. I'm good with the money. Having other people, leaders coming in and try to help. Don't want to listen. Sex, where's that at? I'd like to file a missing sex report. I know I've seen it twice, but it's been missing. How long? 7 years. Write that down. 7 years. Yeah. And to be fair, we weren't supposed to be together anyway. We've talked about that. We've discussed it. I've made videos about it, which is why we struggled so bad. 7 years. Struggle, because I was not with the right person. Constant struggle. I don't believe that every day can be good. Every day can be peaceful. That's your belief. You believe it. That's your belief. I'm choosing to believe that it can be. Yes, we live in a human body. We get tired, but that does not mean that every day has to be a struggle. It doesn't mean that we're perfect, but every day does not have to be a struggle, does not have to be full of anxiety and worry and angry and frustrated and we're fighting. I'm telling you, I have consistently lived happy every day as I have released one person after the other to allow the right aligned people, and sometimes no people, into my life. I don't know how to explain it. If you don't believe it, that's your belief. But I'm telling you that I'm peaceful every day. How can I not be? I don't have drama-filled people in my life. You don't owe anyone an explanation. If you haven't heard me up until now, what am I going to explain? And some people are already set to misunderstand you. Some people are already set to not hear your explanation and really accept it. Some people are already ready to justify their actions. If they haven't heard you up until this point, what am I explaining? Explain what? I have the right to say, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. I have the right to say, I don't want to be in this friendship anymore. This is stuff that people find hard to believe and accept, especially when it comes to marriage. Ain't nobody telling you to walk out. I'm telling you, if you have this truth within you, and for some people, it is the truth, and we don't want to accept that. Some people are not supposed to be together, period. And that's why you keep struggling. And yes, kids are involved, but they experience more trauma when they're dealing with two parents that are constantly at each other's throat, and even physical abuse. Yes. We lived that. So anyways, every day can be sweet. When you're with the right people and you're living the right life, every day can be sweet. Yes, you have little things that pop up, but those are nothing. When you're with the right person, the right people, and living the right life. So yes, I gave up a lot, but I've gained so much more, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. And how do you know that you're really tapping into true happiness? Because no matter what you have to do throughout the day, it's good. You feel good about it. You know how some people used to hate having to go to the grocery store? Now, I love it. I love it. Let's go to the grocery store. Great. You know why? Because I'm going to be buying things that I love, that are in alignment with how I eat, how I drink. So it's fun to me now. It's not torture. And I used to think I couldn't cook. I did. For a long time, I used to think I couldn't cook, but I can cook. I just didn't like having to cook what I wasn't supposed to be eating. Now that I am, cooking what I truly am supposed to eat, I love to cook. Now that I have released competing energies in relationships and with people, I get to cook what I want. I get to cook what's good for my body and my children. And so I love going to the grocery store now. I love cooking because I'm not with people who are eating crap and love eating crap and don't want to change that. My God, today. Working out. I love to work out. And I've always loved it. But when I was hooked up with the wrong people who struggled, who never even looked at a weight, who never even looked at a gym, but you're in those connections and those relationships because it's been 15 years, 20 years. We're married. We're best friends. We're family. And once you wake up to this truth, you're now responsible for your own happiness and your own joy. I have no excuse to not be happy. I don't have drama-filled people in my life. I don't have financial issues because I've released those people that love to host those lack mentalities. They were a host for scarcity mindsets, but because of the bloodline and because of the history, I attached myself to them and I stayed there. And those things attached themselves to me. And they actually programmed me, especially when it's family conditioning. Those things programmed me. But once I released those, now I don't have those financial issues anymore. So I'm now responsible for maintaining this happiness. Okay. Don't just subscribe, like, share, and tag. Do that. Also apply what you heard in the video. Follow me on social media and IamDorian.com.